Aloha, everyone, and welcome to Women Unleashed Online Retreat. And I'm here today. We get another creative process. I'm so happy. Oh, Chris is happy too. She's like, I can hear you tickling over there. So, this whole retreat is meant for you to relax, to tune inwards, to have fun, to connect and tune inwards. And today we're going to be looking at forgiveness, which for me is all about energy. It's all about letting go of the old and making space for what we want to come. And so I'm so glad when Chris and I were originally talking that this is what came up. But before we go there, everyone, let's just get present and let's get grounded in here. So, I like to start before that, make sure you have your materials. So you have your Women Unleashed journal, you have your coloring goodies, you could have crayons or oil pastels, your markers, whatever you want, so you're prepared today. And your cup of whatever you're drinking. I'm drinking water today. Chris, what are you drinking today?
Herbal tea, a little passion herbal tea.
Passion.
Exactly. Yum.
Yes. Oh, it's going to be a good one. Can't you feel it? Can't you feel it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, ladies, get settled in your seats. Make yourself comfortable. I'm going to throw another pillow behind me. Okay. Close your eyes. And with me, we're going to take our 3 deep breaths. First, inhale in. And I want you to release any distractions, anything that came before this moment. As you exhale, let that go. I want you to go ahead and inhale again. Anything that's tugging at you, your energy or your brain that's coming up later, that's distracting you, I want you to exhale and let that go. And as we inhale this time, inhale and smell this moment. We're present together today. Exhale. Bring all our energy right here, right now. When you're ready to open your eyes, be here with us. We get started. So today we're going to, like I mentioned, we're going to talk about forgiveness. And so we're calling it the sacred power of self-forgiveness. And I want to share a little bit about our guide, our session guide today. Now, Chris, before I even get into her professional bio, Chris is one of those people, like the whole da-da-da-da-da.
I know, they're right.
Chris is one of those people I'm like, oh, I know you're one of my people because our people hang out with each other. So it's like, you're friends with Shiloh, and I can't remember who else I may have seen you through, but it was like when I met you, I felt like I already knew you. So I was so excited to bring you on board this time. So let me tell you about Chris Zydel. She's also known as the Wild Heart Queen. I can't wait to hear what this is about, Chris.
You are all about it. Maybe not today, but we'll definitely have a conversation about that.
Too much. So she is the head creative goddess at Creative Juices Arts. She has over 35 years experience as a compassionate creativity guide and an unshakable faith in the power of creativity to heal and change lives. So her and I are very on the same line in this space that yes, art and creativity heals. She also knows that everyone is deeply and wonderfully and gloriously creative. Yes, everyone. And her mission is to share that with the world. So she performs this magic by providing nurturing and joy-filled creative sanctuaries, overflowing with encouragement and permission and trust in the sacred energy of play and creativity that lives inside of us all. So I cannot wait to see where we go today, but just happy to have another fellow creative sister. Chris, welcome.
Thank you so much, Amber. And I feel the same way towards you. I mean, I've been seeing you around the internets and your connection with Shiloh. And when we talked on the phone, it was like, oh my God, sister, where have you been?
Right? I love that when I meet someone, I'm like, oh, you're my people. Like our hearts were already connected, even though yeah. And I love that you're a mermaid. You're like all living in mermaid land over there with the blue.
It's true. Blue is definitely my thing. The blue and the turquoise. So yeah, the deep diver, yes, in the waters of creativity. So yeah. And so thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this beautiful event that you're offering to so many women. I mean, I just feel very excited and happy and just great to connect with you in this way. So yay!
Yay! I'm happy to connect with you too. And like I mentioned on the introduction, is that I was so excited when I was first talking to you about, the retreat and what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, do you have any ideas? And you brought up forgiveness. I was like, yes, this is perfect, because I know the power of forgiveness in the Hawaiian culture. It's really, really important in order to make change. And I think that for many of us, like, we want to make change, but it's like there's like some stuff we need to clean up sometimes to make space for it. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
Great. Yeah. I was really happy when you mentioned that, because I know a little bit about is it the Ho'oponopono? How do you say that practice? What is it called? If you could say that again.
Yeah, Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono. Yeah, right. And I just love that practice, and it's just so important. And it's one of the things I love about the Hawaiian culture and the Hawaiian, the gift that the Hawaiian people have brought to all of us. So yeah, I hadn't thought about that, when I told you what I wanted to do, but it was like, yeah, we were just so in alignment. So it was really fun.
I know. So I've got my journal. I've got my stuff. I'm ready for your gifts, Chris.
Serve them. Okay. Okay, honey, I'm ready to dish it out. The Wild Heart Queen is here to give it to you all.
Oh, now I'm starting to get it. Now I'm starting to get that Wild Heart Queen.
All right. Okay, girl. So I just wanted to, the whole thing about forgiveness. I know forgiveness is actually one of those really loaded topics in a lot of ways, because oftentimes when people are thinking about forgiveness, they're thinking about forgiving people outside of them, and people that have hurt them or betrayed them, or something really difficult or hard has happened. And sometimes I think that there's a lot of pressure on people to jump into forgiveness before they're ready. So that's something I just want to have a lot of compassion for, is that forgiveness can be a challenging topic, especially when it comes to how we've been treated, externally. But the thing I really wanted to talk about today was really, there's one person that is really important for you to be forgiving all the time, and that's really yourself. And I think that self-forgiveness is one of the most difficult things. In some ways, it can be easier for us to forgive people, in our lives than it is to really forgive ourselves, because we're harder on ourselves than anybody else. So the thing about forgiveness, and I know this is something that comes up around the Ho'oponopono kind of practice. Forgiveness is really about putting yourself out of your own heart, or putting someone else out of your heart. So forgiveness is really about opening your heart to yourself, or to even someone who has hurt you. So the other thing, when I was thinking about this and thinking about how, the whole process of, or what comes up for us as women, in particular around self-forgiveness, is, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We have a lot of expectations, and we set all kinds of goals for ourselves, and we want to live to our highest potential. But when we don't live up to that, then we can feel that sense of disappointment, and that sense that we're not enough. And that is something that, if we hold on to that, if we really hold on to that self-criticism, or that sense of, not being enough, it can really limit us. So, I was thinking about this summit or this, kind of, what do we call it? This retreat that you're doing with all the women, and this is at the end of the year. And so I was thinking about, like, really, I wanted to do a whole process today around looking at when you started out 2015, what were some of the things that you wanted to achieve or accomplish, or, things that you put out for yourself. And here we are at the end. And maybe some of those things didn't happen or they didn't come to fruition. And so how do you be kind to yourself? How do you be loving to yourself, even in the face of all of that? So that's really the practice and the process that we're going to do today. So I wanted to start off with a meditation, kind of a heart meditation. And then we're going to do some art in relationship to the meditation. And then we're going to do a little bit of a writing exercise after that. So that's kind of how this will go. Okay? So how's that sound?
Sounds amazing. I can't wait.
Yay! Okay. So the first thing I want you to do, we're just going to start with kind of coming inside and, doing a little meditative journey. So close your eyes and let yourself get comfortable, bringing yourself into your own body, your own being. And one way to find your connection to that connection to yourself, to your embodied self, is starting with just noticing your breathing. Just noticing your breath, feeling your breath as it's coming in and out of your body. Not changing anything, just simply being with whatever shows up in terms of breathing. And then I want you to allow your attention to slowly and gently kind of drift down into your body, the rest of your body. One place that I encourage people to kind of bring themselves into contact is with your hands. So bring your attention into your hands. And just notice what your hands are doing. Are they touching each other? Or are they in your lap? Are they on a chair next to you? And just kind of bring your attention into the experience of sensation in your hands. And that's what we're really focusing on right now, is the experience of being in this body, in this moment, at this time. The experience of breath, sensation and feeling in your hands. And then coming down, down, down through the rest of your body, into your belly and your legs, and down into your feet. And feeling your feet. Feeling the sensations and the energy and the whatever it is that you notice in your feet. Are your feet in shoes, or are you barefoot? Are your feet connected to the ground, or are they underneath you as you're sitting? There's no right way to do this, but I just want you to bring your attention into focusing on the experience of being in your body through your breath, through your hands, through your feet. And just allowing yourself to sink down into this moment of being alive in this body right now. And so now I want you to bring your attention into your chest and into your heart. And just imagining your heart. Feeling into your heart as it's beating. Feeling into your heart as that place of love, gentleness, tenderness, compassion. Just noticing what you experience as you invite your attention into your own heart. And what do you find there? Do you find your heart open? Do you find your heart a little clenched and maybe a little afraid? It's all good. There's no right way or no wrong way to be here in relationship to your own heart. It's all about curiosity and compassion for where you are in this moment. So I want you to use your breath to just expand your experience of being in your own heart. Notice what color wants to come as you open up to the energy of your heart. Allow the energy of your heart and the color that you see to expand into the rest of your being. See if you can allow that energy to come up into your head and down your arms, down through your belly and your feet and your legs, so that you're filled up with this energy of compassion, kindness, tenderness, openness, love in your being. And again, just noticing if colors are coming or images are coming or what feelings are there as you invite your heart to expand into your being. So just allow yourself to be with this experience for another few seconds. Noticing whatever there is to notice as you invite your heart to open and expand. And what we're going to do now is to gently open our eyes and just kind of see where you are, feel where you are. Yeah, you might want to move your body around a little bit, do a little shoulder rolls or neck rolls or, kind of waking yourself up. And just what is that like? What's that like to have opened yourself to this heart energy that is always there now that your eyes are open and as you come out into the world as this heart? So the next part of what I want us to do is to get out your journal and your crayons or your oil pastels or whatever it is, and take the energy that came up for you in the meditation. So there could be a color, there could be shapes, there could be forms. There might not be anything that you see, but we're going to spend, 5 minutes or so drawing, coloring, and allowing yourself to channel this, whatever it is that came up for you around your heart, and see what shows up on the paper, what shows up in your journal. There's no right way to do this. It might be a symbol. It might simply be color. It might be swirls. It might be some kind of image. But you want to just trust yourself. And it's important to feel as you do this. So that's the most important thing. So don't worry about doing it right or whether it looks good. It's just, I want you to stay in touch with this energy that you've opened up around your own heart and allow that to be expressed on the paper. So we're just going to spend a few minutes now coloring and drawing and whatever wants to show up. And stay with the feeling. Stay with the feeling. Let yourself be surprised. Maybe what is showing up on the paper isn't what you would have expected your heart energy to look like. And that's okay. The most important thing is to stay in touch with what you're feeling. To allow your feeling to come through your arm and your hand as you move on the paper in front of you. Let your intuition guide you. What color or colors do you find yourself attracted to? What shapes or forms are showing themselves on the paper, on your journal? Let yourself play and have fun. It's like you're listening to yourself through the movement of the shapes and the colors. Keep breathing. Keep moving. That's the other thing. Just keep moving. Keep allowing your heart to speak to you through how you're moving in your journal. There's no wrong way to do this. This is just another way for you to be with yourself. Listening to yourself, feeling yourself, expressing yourself without judgment, which is what the heart is all about.
So, Chris, I have a question. If
Yes.
judgment does come out, what would you like the woman to do with that?
So if you start to experience that, you start to lose that connection, just notice it. Just notice, and say, okay, I get it. I can feel the judgment. I can experience the judgment and bring yourself back to your heart. Bring yourself back to the direct experience of what's happening in your body and what's happening as you move your hand on the paper. I mean, judgment is one of those things that we kind of can't stop. It just goes blah, 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 what we're trying to do is not pay too much attention to it. So you can notice it and let it flow through. What's that, sweetie?
So I love it. It's like meditation, I remember the first time I tried meditating, I thought I wasn't supposed to think anything. I'm like, I am totally not doing this good at all, because my brain was like,
no, right. Yeah.
And then someone told me, oh, it's not that at all. It's supposed, the point is to like, just to notice the thoughts and then keep coming back to the breath, keep coming back to the breath. So it's like noticing the judgment and coming back to the creative process, or back to the heart. It's beautiful.
Exactly. That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. So it's really, I mean, it is a practice, it's really a practice of, I mean, the way that I like to think about it is, and this is like, it's very much like a meditation practice, or it is a meditation practice, really. It's not like one, of where do you put your attention, So you can, as the judgment arises, you can get caught by it, and you can start to really kind of focus on it, or you can bring yourself back to feeling your body and feeling the movement of the crayon or the oil pastel on the paper in front of you, as a way of coming back to the here and the now. Because the judgment's always about, something else that's going on. So, yeah, so it's a practice. It's a practice of noticing and returning. Noticing and returning. And not judging yourself for judging. That's another big one. Oh no, I'm judging again.
I know that one. I'm so judgmental.
What's wrong with me? I know, really. Oh, I know, really. It's like, oh, judgment. Yes, okay, there you are. Okay, well, actually, I'm coloring right now, and I'm expressing my heart, so I'm not really going to give you a lot of attention.
Yeah, come back at another time, please. I'm busy coloring.
I'm busy coloring. Yeah. So yeah, again, it's like, where do you put your attention? Keep coming back to your body, feeling, and what's happening in your journal. Kind of notice what colors call you and what shapes are calling you. And, if you start to kind of get bored with what you're doing, then find something that has more juice for you. This is all about play.
Right, which is so counter sometimes what we've been taught, like as far as being productive. So there's that. That's
there's that, right?
One of the judgments.
Exactly. You're not doing this enough. You're not working hard enough. Well, guess what? You get to enjoy this.
Yep.
So maybe a couple more minutes. Just kind of do, again, see if there's something that you're really excited by. Maybe there's a color you haven't tried, and you're like, oh, grab that one and try that one. Yummy. I could do this for the next hour, to tell you the truth.
Like, oh, that's right. We're doing a retreat. Come back.
I know, really. Oh, I know, really. Right. It's like, oh, right. Okay, right. I'm here. I'm here.
I think that's one of the beauty things about art, though, is that timeless quality. When we drop in,
yes,
there's
exactly right.
We lose time, which is beautiful.
Yes, exactly right. It's so great. Well, it's one of the things that really is so nourishing to our souls, is getting out of that whole linear thing and into the timeless zone. Okay, so take another minute or so to finish it up. And again, if you're not done, don't worry about it. I mean, you can always come back to this later too if you're really excited by it and really inspired by it. Okay. All right. Okay. So you want to show what you did? Let's
Ooh,
see
show and
your
tell, show and tell.
show and tell, show and tell.
This is my
Oh,
drawing. I had so much
yeah.
fun. It was like
Did you?
all the swirlies. That was something that like my heart loved, the swirls and then the circles, and like there's this flow, this feeling of flow.
Yes.
That felt so
Exactly
yummy.
right. Good.
And I
So what
noticed
did you
my judgment that came up. I noticed my judgment was like, these colors don't really work well together. You know, they're not like contrast colors or whatever, you know, like the technical artist brain came out and I'm like, I don't care.
Exactly.
I love it. So
good. And what came up for you in the meditation? What did you notice, you know, during the meditation around the heart thing, around the heart opening?
Oh, for me, it was a body softening. Like I felt that sometimes for me, especially when we're talking about judgment or that kind of thing, that there's like this tension that I can hold in my body. And when we did the meditation, it was like I was able to really drop down, and I noticed heat in my hands, heat in my feet, and heat in my heart. It was like a pulse. It was a beautiful pulsing, which is which was like this open energy kind of thing happening instead of you know, like the get things done kind of energy. So it was really good.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Yay. Great. Okay. Oh, and I'm going to show you mine. So this is what I came up with. Oh. I know. It's so fun. I was just having am I doing this right? Can you see it? Oh, there we go. Yeah. So it was just, and again, there were all these points when I was doing it where I was like, oh, don't use that color. Don't use that color. That's going to ruin it. Oh my God, that's going to be too weird. That's going to be intense. And my soul was like, yeah, that color. We really want that color. So
I'm so glad you listened. I know. I can't wait to see everybody. I want to see your drawings, people. You have to share them in our Facebook group. So you're going to have to take a picture and share them in our Facebook group so we can see your beautiful heart self-judgment drawings, non-self-judgment.
Non-self-judgment drawing. That's right. Right. The non-self-judgment drawings. Oh my God, that's great. No judgment drawing. We could do that on our own time, right?
Sans judgment, please, everybody. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, this has been, I love this, Chris. This has been so fun.
Oh, good, sweetie. I'm glad. I'm really glad. So there's one more piece that I just wanted to do with you all, because we have time, right? We're still good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted, so now we have this, you know, we got in touch with our heart, you know, we kind of did a little work around, you know, kind of shifting our attention away from the judgment. Now we have this symbolic and colorful representation of the heart energy that we got in touch with. So what I want you to do now is to just kind of close your eyes again and think back over this past year, you know, think back over 2015. And just think about, you know, what were some of the things that you had set out for yourself for this year? You know, things that you had hoped for or longed for or wished for that you wanted to achieve or that you wanted to accomplish. You know, was there some pattern maybe around, you know, that you really wanted to shift? Or maybe you had, you know, something that you really wanted to change in this past year. Maybe you wanted to lose 5 pounds, or you wanted to beef up your art practice, or you wanted to really get your business off the ground, or whatever it was, you know, that kind of just think about what are some of those things that you had set out for yourself. And then just kind of sit with what is it that actually came to fruition around those things. And if there's places that you felt like you did achieve and accomplish what you wanted, to celebrate that, to take a moment to really feel that celebration. But if you felt like you fell short or something didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to, let yourself sit with that experience of disappointment or frustration or sadness, or just kind of notice whatever the feelings are that come up for you around the fact that this didn't happen. Maybe you didn't lose the 5 pounds. Maybe you didn't do your art practice the way that you had hoped that you might. And as you're sitting with those feelings, sitting with that experience, I want you to come into and back to that feeling of the heart that we got in touch with earlier. And can you bring some of those disappointments, some of those frustrations, some of those ways that you maybe felt like you let yourself down into your heart? And say something like, I hold myself in my heart with love and forgiveness and compassion. And just kind of notice as these different memories arise. And if you notice again those feelings of sadness or frustration or disappointment, imagine that you're bringing those feelings, those experiences into this heart that you drew, into the heart that you opened to in the meditation. And just notice what it's like to bring those experiences of feeling like you didn't measure up or you didn't do what you wanted to do. Can you bring that into your heart and just hold yourself in forgiveness? What is it like to offer yourself forgiveness for the ways that you felt like you fell short? And just notice what comes up for you as you attempt this practice. Does your heart expand? Does it contract? Does the critic come up and try to argue you out of it? And as those things show up, just come back to the statement again. I hold myself in my heart with love and forgiveness and compassion. I hold myself in my heart with love and forgiveness and compassion. And take another minute just to simply see if there's anything else that you need to bring into this beautiful cauldron of love, of self-love that you are opening up to here. Any other way that you felt like you let yourself down or somebody else down. And again, inviting that experience. I open and hold myself in my heart with love and forgiveness and compassion. Take another moment just to breathe. And then open your eyes when you're ready and come back out into the circle. And just noticing what you're feeling. So what's happening for you, Amber?
One thing, it was interesting because last year at the beginning of the year, one of my intentions was making memories with my family. creating experiences. And I had this realization that we did that, that, the kids and I went to, Tony and I went to Legoland and SeaWorld and did this whole adventure together with the kids. And then Tony and I went to Italy together for a couple weeks. And it was beautiful. And it was what I wanted. And then I noticed that other part say, but it wasn't exactly, right? Like I had just gotten pneumonia, so I was getting pushed around in a wheelchair, like, or
right. It wasn't perfect, right?
Right, I was cruising through Italy, but like I didn't have as much sex as I wanted with my husband, or whatever. Like these things were coming up that
right, all right,
which is so funny. So I was just really when I dropped in my heart space, it was like, no, I did do it. And it was beautiful. I set the intention and we created that. And that felt really good.
Yeah. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. And I had an experience where I have a mentor and who I really wanted to connect with her this year. We connected earlier in the year, but then later in the year, I wanted to connect with her. And I got really busy and a lot of things came up and I didn't have the time. And I was looking forward to seeing her this fall. And she was elderly and she died just a few weeks ago. So I had, this grief that came up in me, that I had this thing that I wanted and I was feeling disappointed in myself that I hadn't reached out earlier. But, I was able to, in the meditation, come into that place of holding myself in compassion. My life was my life and I loved her and she knew I loved her and I knew that she loved me. And so I could hold that even though there was this disappointment for me that I didn't get to see her again. I really wanted that. So it was making space for the grief and making space for the love, both. So it was really, really powerful.
Thank you for sharing that, Chris. I loved what you said about making space for both.
Yeah.
That doesn't have to all be like sunshine and rainbows. Or if it's just highly disappointing, it doesn't have to be all of that too. But there is this mixed bag, the both and.
Exactly, because that's what's always true. And, it's kind of like what you were sharing about, even if we have like amazing experiences, like, you're going to Italy or, Legoland or whatever. And, but then there's always the parts of it that don't match up to what our expectations are. You getting pneumonia or being pushed around in a wheelchair or not having enough sex or whatever it is, like there's that way that, our expectations are, we have these expectations of what we think things are supposed to be. And that's a lot of where that self, where it's hard for us to forgive ourselves for being human and for life being the way that it is, So I really appreciated you sharing about that too. That was a beautiful kind of example of, you really did do this thing that you set out to do, and it wasn't perfect in terms of that part of your mind. I mean, it was perfect, but
darn it.
I know. Exactly. But, it's that constantly having to forgive ourselves for being human.
So. Yeah, it's like we're measuring ourselves up against perfect, and that's not quite possible. So, and then we get to the point because we're not perfect. And it's like this really interesting, strange thing that I'm just noticing that I put myself through.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's right. Right. It's like, what? Well, and again, it's that whole expectation thing, and so much of this practice, I mean, the practice that you're doing and the practice that, a lot of us are doing here is like, how do we meet whatever shows up, with love, whatever that is, whether it's the wheelchair or the, the mentor that died or whatever it is, Yeah. So.
Thank you, Chris. This has been wonderful. I've got I've got oil pastel on my fingers.
You do. Look at you. You are just.
I was smudging a little bit.
Yes. That's great. I love it. That's great, sweetie.
Oh, so ladies, we would love for you to share in the Facebook group either your images of what you came up with when we were connecting to your heart, or also celebrating what worked for you in 2015, or even sharing, things that didn't meet your expectation, but looking at both sides of that. So if this conversation brought stuff up for you, please share in our group. We'd love to hear and connect with you on that end. And and Chris, I know that you had something for our people to hang out with you more.
I do. So I have this little booklet that I wrote, and I can't, the name is really long. You probably have it in front of you.
I have it. Do you want me to tell you?
Yes, tell me what it is. Yes.
All right, everybody. It's called 7 Heart-Centered Principles, Spirit-Based Practices, and Simple Action Steps for Leading a Wildly Creative, Deeply Authentic, and Magically Intuitive Life.
Exactly. That's what it's called. Thank you, Amber. I just call it 7 Heart-Centered Principles, but the rest of it is just it's so great, but it's really long. Yeah, so it's this little ebook. So if you click on the link, it'll take you to my website, and you can download it, and it's really lovely, and it's fun, and it's quirky, and there's some great art in it, and it is some practices that can help you to stay connected to your juicy creative aliveness, which is what you and I are all about. So
we're all about the juice.
Yeah. We are all about the juice. Yes. All right.
Yeah. So just go ahead and click the link below, ladies, if you want some more of that juiciness. You want
yes, that's right.
Thank you so much, Chris. This has been wonderful. Loved it. Loved just hanging out with you too. It's like, we get to hang out together, like with lots of fun people.
This is really fun. This is so great. And thank you so much for inviting me, and for, this is so beautiful to do this with you. I mean, it just felt really sweet to connect with you, in this way. So through our deep love of art and creativity and soul work. So
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, women. So it's loving you so much, and seeing you at our next session. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day, and we'll see you next time. Aloha.
Aloha. Bye.